Hello. Today, we'll build a line chart in SciChart.js with a custom palette provider that does two things at once. It dims line segments where the data has gaps, and it colors the line green wherever the value goes above a threshold. We move from project structure to the code, then to what you see in the browser. Each section matches a practical step needed to reproduce the example. The example is split across three files. HTML defines the chart container and the script entry. CSS handles full window layout. Chart logic lives in demo.js, a custom combined palette provider class that extends SciChart's default palette provider, plus one entry function that creates the surface, configures axes, generates data with gap markers, registers a line series wired to the palette provider, and adds a threshold annotation and three navigation modifiers. The chart starts with SciChartSurface.create. That call returns SciChartSurface, where axes and series are attached, and WASM context, which is passed to axis and series constructors as required by the API. Both axes are numeric axis instances with explicit titles. On Y, we add a small grow by of 0.1 on each end, so the line never sits flush against the top or bottom of the plot area. The data is 100 points of a sine and cosine curve generated locally. Alongside the X and Y arrays, we build a parallel metadata array. Each metadata entry carries an isGap flag set to true on every 15th point. The palette provider reads this flag at draw time. Gaps come from metadata, not from NaN, which keeps the data continuous for the rest of the API and lets you toggle gaps without rebuilding the series. The combined palette provider class extends default palette provider. It implements override stroke ARGB, which SciChart calls for every data point. The override does two checks. First, if the current point or the previous one is marked as a gap, it returns a near-transparent color, so the segment fades out. Second, if the value is above the threshold of -0.8, it returns green. Otherwise, it returns undefined, which falls back to the series default stroke. The series itself is a FastLineRenderableSeries with an orange default stroke and a 4-pixel thickness. The data series is an XY data series, carrying the same XY and metadata arrays we just generated, plus a data series name that a legend modifier would pick up. The custom palette provider is wired in through the palette provider option. To make the threshold visible, we add a horizontal line annotation at -0.8, drawn as a green dashed line with a small label in the bottom right. Three modifiers add interaction on top: mouse wheel zoom modifier, zoom pan modifier, and zoom extents modifier, covering wheel zoom, click and drag panning, and a reset to full extent using SciChart's standard reset gesture. To reproduce this setup, keep the same sequence: a custom palette provider that overrides override stroke, ARGB based on metadata and value, SciChartSurface.create with two numeric axis instances, and a small Y grow by. Data with a parallel metadata array marking gaps. A FastLineRenderableSeries with the palette provider wired in, and a horizontal T-threshold annotation, plus three navigation modifiers. For full API details and more examples, see the official SciChart documentation and the samples linked from this project. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.